Secure the border. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. Canadians see a real security risk at our border with the U.S., according to a new poll, and they're right to feel that way no matter what the media and political elites say. We've been treated to story after story that portrays everyone crossing the Canada-U.S. border illegally as someone escaping the nastiness of Donald Trump. We've seen media story after media story showcasing anyone that wants to crack down on illegal border crossings as some kind of racist, anti-immigrant xenophobe, without any actual facts to back it up. And yet, despite all of that, Canadians do see a risk at the border, and they want more resources going to securing the border over helping those fleeing America and claiming to be refugees. The latest poll from the Angus Reid Institute surveyed 1,511 adult Canadians between March 13th and 17th on a variety of questions surrounding this issue. The results? They will surprise many. Like, did you know that just 7% say there's no risk from people crossing the border, while more than 9 in 10 say there is a risk? Here's exactly how they asked the question. How much of a risk, if any, do you think there is that criminal or dangerous people are among the arrivals entering Canada this way? Now look at this chart. Just 7% say there is no risk. 43% say there's a minor risk, 30% say a significant risk, and 20% say a huge risk. So 93% say there is a risk of criminals or dangerous people coming into Canada this way, and 7% say no risk at all. I think that 7% is mostly made up of politicians, media types, and refugee industry people. You know, the activists, the lawyers. Now, admittedly, 43% say the risk is minor, but they still see one, and 50% say a significant or huge risk. Let me take you back to the news from last week and show you what that risk looks like.
Vi ska prata med Jonathan Jeppsson som är på plats, våran reporter.
Definitely, but I would be in...
Men de kollar inte bak, they're not looking backwards. So.
Police now believe that the truck attack in Sweden that killed 4 people, injured many more, was carried out by a failed asylum seeker, a Uzbekistan man with ISIS sympathies who was ordered out of Sweden late last year. The man, now identified as 39-year-old Rakhmat Akalov, chatted with ISIS supporters before and after the attack and reportedly told police he's pleased with what he's done, what he accomplished. This according to local media in Sweden. And this is a man that just walked into Sweden and then they couldn't get him out. Or what about the Berlin Christmas market attack? You recall that one from last Christmas? The man drove the truck into the Christmas market, killing 11 pedestrians. He was a failed asylum seeker named Anas Amri. Amri was from Tunisia. He entered Italy illegally in 2011, claiming falsely to be a 17-year-old minor. He was arrested, jailed for vandalizing a refugee center, released, and went to Germany, where they tried and failed to deport him before he went on his rampage. There are more examples like this, but let's just focus on this recent one as our last example, the bomb scare in Norway this past weekend. A bomb placed near a busy subway station, but defused before it could go off. It happened on Sunday. The culprit, a 17-year-old asylum seeker. And when Justin Trudeau began his refugee push, I called for tough vetting of anyone wanting to come here from Syria. The original Liberal plan was to bring everyone here and then check them out. I and others correctly pointed out that would be dangerous. This was and still is an area filled with real refugees fleeing war, but also warlords, war criminals fleeing prosecution. It has terrorists and terrorist sympathizers everywhere. Well, we did some tough vetting. Was it enough? Time will tell, but I have to hope for all our sakes that it was. But now we've got people just walking across the border. You've been seeing it for months. People walking across farmers' fields through forests, some dropped off with their luggage at the border, then they just walk across. Canadians aren't okay with this because they rightly see this as a security risk. When the Angus Reid Institute asked this question, how much priority do you think should be given to each of the following? The options were getting these new arrivals safely into Canada and providing medical, housing, or other needed assistance, or the alternative, assigning police, immigration officers, and technology, such as drones, to monitor and secure the unguarded areas of our border. Well, fully 74% said secure the border. Broken down by party vote, 87% of Conservative backers from the last election said prioritize the border. So did 69% of Liberal voters and 67% of New Democrats. They also rephrased the question this way. Putting this another way, if you were in charge of the Canadian border, how would you focus available resources? Just 3% said they would focus exclusively on the people arriving. 25% said mostly on the people arriving. 52% said mostly on border monitoring and security, while 20% said they would focus exclusively on the border. These results will shock a lot of pundits, a lot of the political and media establishment. They won't like these results, but they don't shock me. See, I know that Canadians support a generous immigration and refugee system if it is based on a few things happening first, and those include that it follows Canadian rules and Canadian laws, that it's fair and doesn't allow queue jumping, and that the security of Canada and Canadians are paramount, that they're protected. None of these conditions are met right now with this influx of illegal immigrants crossing the border at non-border crossings and just yelling refugee. And I'm sorry, the U.S. is not creating refugees. It still accepts them even under Donald Trump. The government needs to act on this and toughen up border security. Even a majority of Liberal voters and left-wing NDP voters agree with that. Strong majorities. If you agree with that assessment, and you haven't yet signed our petition at noillegals.ca, then I encourage you to do so. Activists want less border security. They're pressuring the government. Do less, not more. Well, if you stand with the majority of Canadians and for common sense, then please sign the petition at noillegals.ca. Sign now, noillegals.ca, then share it on social media. If you like the Rebel video you just watched, then make sure you never miss another one again. Click here to subscribe. And hey, we've got a new Rebel Canada channel on YouTube, so if you haven't subscribed to that one yet, do so now.